Hello, if you are watching this video, I hope you've had a good day today. My name is David Pratt, and I am a book author. And today I'm going to discuss my author's. I'm going to go into my author's perspective about my third novel, which is Bladefoot Evolved, which is a series of 6 tales, which act as both a prequel and a spin-off to my original 2015 work, Bladefoot, which I have discussed in an author's perspective of Bladefoot in a previous video. So, okay, let's begin. So, first I'm going to talk about how Bladefoot Evolved was originally made. So, when I published Bladefoot, I did have the idea that I was going to do a sequel for it. Now, I had this idea that I was going to set it 10 million years before the events of Bladefoot, which take place 65 million years ago. So this original book was going to be set 75 million years ago, still in North America. However, I sat down with a friend and spoke about this. Now, this particular friend of mine, he was a very big fan of Bladefoot when it was released. He has been very supportive of my writing, and although he did leave a 5-star review on Amazon.co.uk, he did feel that my original work, Bladefoot, did have some issues with the storyline itself. He felt that some characters were underused, and he felt that some particular stories weren't very well developed. There wasn't enough backstory with some components of Bladefoot, which I'm not going to go into now because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So I also had to try to get some more feedback from my original work on my blog, and another fan said that he wanted to see more of one particular character in the prequel. So when I sat down to write Bladefoot Evolved, I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to just put this original idea to one side, and then just give my friends and fans what they would like to see, basically. So I was going to do a writing on demand system. So when I sat down to write Bladefoot Evolved, it had a lot of hype and a lot to live up to from its predecessor. When Bladefoot was released in 2015, it did go down very well with readers. It also went down very well with critics and reviewers. So it did sell about 80 copies worldwide and even picked up a very small fan base. So what I wanted to do was take everything that was good about Bladefoot and make it better. So I had the objective. Now, could I have done that? And the answer to that question is yes, I have. So with this book here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold up the book's description to the camera. Feel free to pause this video so you can take a good look. So this particular novel is a series of 6 separate tales from each other. So some of these take place years before Bladefoot, the main story, while others take place while the main story is what other parts of this book take place during the events of Bladefoot. So the first tale is about young Preston, who's a young Troodon who's literally hatched into a violent Cretaceous world. The second story is about Flo the Elasmosaurus. The third story is about Skyrider the Quetzalcoatlus, his backstory and origins from book, the Quetzalcoatlus featured in book 1. The fourth story talks about Rumble the Triceratops from book 1. The fifth story goes more into adult Preston, who survived from being a chick and has now reached the adult stage of his life. And the sixth final tale focuses on Cutter, who was Bladefoot's main antagonist in book 1. So what I wanted to do was with Bladefoot Evolved was I didn't want to make it too similar to the original material that I had produced. So it was going to be new characters as well as many of the original ones. There was going to be a lot of new dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, with of course some throwbacks to the original material, and of course my writing style was going to improve a lot from the original material as well. So there's plenty of if you're a big prehistory fan, there's a lot of creatures in this book, to keep you entertained. There's a lot of new dinosaurs. There's a lot of sea monsters, and of course some. I've thrown in some giant bugs too. So if are a big fan of prehistory and want to, or if you want to learn more about dinosaurs in general, do pick up this book, because, as before, you will get the sense that you are walking through the jungle, 65 million years ago, or swimming through a Cretaceous coral reef 65 million years ago. Now, something I didn't really go much into in the first Bladefoot was what life was like in the oceans at the time. I've really corrected this in the second book, which I've really gone seriously in depth in what marine life was like, during at the end of the Cretaceous period. Okay, so Bladefoot Evolved, it hasn't really although it has received a lot of positive feedback. Many people have said that it was better than the original material. I mean, the original material was very good because it did receive a lot of 5-star reviews. Bladefoot Evolved, it hasn't really taken off as much as I thought it would, because I thought that people, but real die-hard fans of the first Bladefoot would have picked up a copy of Bladefoot Evolved and be like, oh wow, it's a new Bladefoot book, let's see what David's done now. And that hasn't really happened. Now, some people did say that a lot of people have given it 5-star reviews, which is great, which is fantastic. On average, they have said that it's better than the first book. However, I have had one person comment that it wasn't. He much preferred the original, and that some of the the tales in Bladefoot Evolved have probably could have been like individual novels. But the reason why I wanted to do it as a series of separate tales this time, rather than like an individual story of like one character from like start to finish, is because I wanted to create more of a narrative. I wanted to flesh out the original material. I didn't want to rip the guts out of the original book, but it wasn't just like just slapping in like a few new ideas and calling it a day. What I wanted, I know the Troodons from the first book, they do feature in the second book. However, as you have seen from the back cover and as I've already described, there are other dinosaurs and prehistoric animals that I have really explored the backstory of, not just just in like a narrative type of sense, like just like a basic backstory, but like really fleshed out structures, just like what the original Bladefoot was, but for a different species. Let's just say. I think that's probably the easiest way that I could describe it. So, yeah. Now, again, lack of reviews has been an issue with Bladefoot Evolved. That's probably why it hasn't taken off as much as Bladefoot has. Out of all the 3 books that I've written, only Bladefoot seems to have generated the most amount of reviews. So if you have read this book, if you did pick up a copy of it, if you did either downloaded it for free or paid for it on either full price or special offer, the book itself is available in both Kindle and paperback formats on Amazon, Lulu, Barnes & Noble, and Goodreads.com. Please do leave a review of it, even if it's not going to be positive. I mean, just say what you liked about the book, what you didn't like about it, what you felt you could have improved upon. Now, there was one particular trolling comment where I was encouraged to fire my editor, but let me tell you something. Let me just explain something right now. I'm just going to throw this out there anyway. This book was meticulously proofread by someone who did a very good job for me. Before the book was published, so I don't know where that comment came from. Here's a description of what the book is all about again. So yeah, if you just want to have just take a good look at that. So as you can see, it takes what was good about the first Bladefoot and it makes it better. It's just an improvement, really. So yeah, but I was really expecting it to take off a bit more from the original success that Bladefoot had. So I mean, if you are watching these videos, and if you think of someone who would like some, like a dinosaur fan that of for Christmas, these are some potential Christmas present ideas. Just throwing it out there. So anyway, okay, so Bladefoot Evolved, yeah. I mean, I personally feel that I achieved what I wanted to achieve with publishing Bladefoot Evolved. Now, As to my original prequel idea, I might eventually sit down and write it, but it's not going to be until quite a while off, because I have got some other things that some other writing projects I want to get done, including, of course, my fourth book, which is of course a follow up to my 2016 release, The Black Mamba. That's still in that's in production. So now, what's something I am going to announce for all you Bladefoot fans out there? This book will be re-released and remastered as an audiobook. The primary, the main recording has been completed, so I'm working with a couple of other guys to get the finishing touches done. So hopefully we're going to be releasing this in an audiobook by Christmas. So do stay tuned for that one. Keep your eyes and ears peeled. And also please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Spread the word about my works, because it does help me out quite a lot. And yeah, and I you know what, I'm going to call it a day. So yeah, that's my personal take on Bladefoot Evolved. Is that the fact that I felt I achieved what I wanted to achieve, when I wrote that book, but I was expecting it more to be received a lot better by audiences, considering the amount of success that that Bladefoot had. So what more can I say? I don't think there's really that much more I can say, really. So, okay. So, yeah, stay tuned for all my other YouTube video news. And I shall see you guys next time. Much love. Bye-bye.